Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stump back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we're over here on the Japanese version of the game, taking on the Garp's challenge against the worst generation, utilizing a mono DEX team led by Anniversary, Super Type, Law. Now, if you guys want to check out the team, head back to the beginning of the video, just hit the pause there to check out the supports. I think the only notable support is Onami on Sanji Pudding. I think that's pretty much the only notable support, but if you do want to go back and check, otherwise we will find out along the way. Now, as mentioned in some of the other videos that I have done on this particular piece of content, my Japan account isn't where it needs to be in terms of having a lot of units maxed out and having a lot of resources to fully limit break characters and whatnot. So this particular team is very, very stacked. We obviously do have the new Law, we have Sanji Pudding, we have Legend V2 Zoro, or V3 Zoro I should say, V1, VV Rebecca, and then the free-to-play Clash Croc. Funny enough, we did manage to find a way to put in a free-to-play character on this particular team, but Croc's really, really good because he can't be blown away. So putting him down in the bottom row helps out significantly on the final stage as we don't actually lose a unit. As mentioned, we do have the Onami support on Sanji Pudding for some defense up removal, or setting the defense to 0. Sanji and Pudding are really, really good because they can remove defensive effects like threshold and damage reduction completely, as well as being a color affinity booster. They can also let us heal, as well as Law's amazing healing ability as well. On stage 3, though, we start the sort of tough part of the content, and Jewelry, Bonnie, Apu, and Capone give us a right side of orbs as recovery, a left side as bomb, and then give us a new debuff where if we eat those meat orbs, we're actually going to take damage and we're not going to heal. We also get the remove sound effects or special effects debuff, so we do want to get a way around that. So we are just going to utilize our switch abilities of Sanji Pudding for some matching orbs, and then we're just going to pop one of our Law specials. Law's going to give us 1.5 times damage, or 1.5 times damage, and a 2.75 times attack boost to our entire team as we are running a full DEX squad. We do have a chain lock with Vivi Rebecca as well, and with that we can easily take this particular stage out. Now, the tricky thing about this particular stage is it's quite hard to hit your perfects, as you can see here, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter too much, as the damage is only about like 4,000 per meat orb, and then the bombs, they do a little bit of damage too, but we can get a lot of healing back with our Law Captain ability, as well as any damage that we do take, we are going to heal 25% of that back, moving into the next stage. But just remember, for the next sort of 10 turns, you don't want to eat meat orbs. On to the next stage, we come up against Rogue. Now, Rogue gives us another new debuff that Globarians you wouldn't have seen before, and JP players as well. We have a damage cap at 500,000. We can only do 500,000 damage in this turn to Rogue, and then he goes up to 1 million, 1.5, and then 2 million, and around that 2 million mark is where we can actually take him out. So you can only use 2 specials on this stage too, but that really doesn't matter. Just make sure that you do switch with your Sanji and Pudding. That way you can start stockpiling the damage that gets inflicted on this stage, as this team is going to take 4 turns to take out your Rogue, unlike the Versakainu team that I did upload this morning, actually. But with the switchability of Vivi and Rebecca, even hitting perfects without us doing damage with Law is actually just going to give us a little bit of healing back, and as you can see, we can just sort of heal back any damage that Rogue does to us. Law's Captain ability, as well as the switch ability of Vivi Rebecca and Sanji Pudding, just means that any of the damage that we do take is getting healed back on the next turn, as well as being able to heal on this particular turn as well, even though we can't heal with meat orbs. So it is really, really cheeky and works out quite well. But some things to note before we move on to the final stages: you really want Zoro and Sanji Pudding to be in your middle slots, as we are running basically a full cerebral based team. And we are running a mono DEX team. So you ideally want Zoro to become your captain on the final stage. So ideally you need him to be in the middle row. Croc needs to be down the bottom because he can't be blown away. And then Vivi Rebecca sort of just fall down the bottom because we don't really care too much if they become our captain or if they get blown away. We're better off having Sanji Pudding special available to us. That's why they're in the middle row. That way we can actually access them. On to the next stage, we come up against Killer and Zoro. They have 4 turns of Threshold, and if you rotate your orbs here, they're going to do a bunch of damage. Killer has a 3 perfect barrier for 4 turns as well, so just be mindful of that. But if you switch with Sanji and Pudding here and then use their special, we can give ourselves color affinity, so that way we can easily destroy Zoro. We can set defense to 0 with Nami. It's not essential with Nami, but it definitely helps out. And then we can easily take out Killer, as well as trying... Oh, do we even get the damage? No, we don't. I was going to say, but we can also get some damage onto Zoro as well. But with Sanji and Pudding, they give us 2 turns of color affinity, which means that we can get a lot of extra damage here against Zoro, as we are running a mono DEX team. Now, ideally, if you have Rebecca available to you in the previous turn, you can get a little bit more damage on Killer. But on this stage is a really, really good time to actually start farming orbs. Once we move into the next stage against Blackbeard, he's actually going to give us that orb seal mechanic, where we're basically stuck with those orbs for 3 turns, as long as we hit 3 greats. If we hit 3 greats, we can actually break the orb barrier. But as you can see here, I did manage to get all orbs on all of my characters except for my friend Law. Now, I really wanted to try and get an orb on my friend Law, so I think we actually do take the 3 turns against Blackbeard here. Now, because we take 3 turns against Blackbeard, he actually gives us another new debuff that I don't know if I know global players haven't seen, but I don't know if Japan players have actually seen this yet. But if we take 3 turns on Blackbeard, he actually gives us an immunity to using an orb buff mechanic. So, another spanner in the works for this particular piece of content, as this particular piece of content actually introduced a lot of new debuffs. Now, against Blackbeard, we are going to utilize the super typings of our Law here, just because we do want to stay alive. Make sure you are switching with your Sanji Pudding at least once to get a little bit of healing back, and you really want to be breaking that barrier that is on the friend Law to try and get a matching orb into the final stage. You can abuse this mechanic and like lock your orbs in the previous turn. That should work too, but as you can see, this team has just so much healing with the switchability of Vivi, Rebecca, and the captains of Law, as well as the super timings of Law too, that we can actually just like easily make our way through this particular stage. Now, once we move into the final stage against the 3 main worst generations, this is where things get a little bit tricky. Now, we do have the immunity and we can't use an orb buff. We do manage to get Zoro to become our captain. If you don't, you can reload the game and then that'll work out fine. And then our bottom row is going to get blown away. So we are going to lose our Vivi Rebecca. See you later. Ideally, on the Blackbeard stage before this, you actually want to use the Croc special. If you use the Croc special, you get a 3-turn chain lock, and that way you actually have a chain lock on this particular stage too to do a little bit more damage. But with Zoro as our captain now, we can actually get his super typing, which is really, really nice. That way we can actually get color affinity to our DEX units. We can also get an attack boost as well as an additional damage boost with our Law as well. We do want to save one of our Law specials because we are going to take 2 turns here. But as you can see, we have a color affinity, we have an attack boost, we have extra damage, and we should be able to take out not only Luffy, but we should be able to take out Law as well, just with our 5 units. So we're going to do that. We do have the final tap mechanic as well, so make sure that you start all of your attacks on Luffy. As you can see, we just do butt tons of damage, and we can easily take out Law as well. On the second turn, we are going to use our Zoro special to get an orb buff, as well as our other Law for an attack boost, as well as the additional damage debuff as well. Mainly because we now remove that full immunity with Blackbeard, so it actually works really well. Just be mindful, you can actually get more damage that you saw with this particular team if you did use Croc properly, unlike my spoony self. And with that, you can possibly take out this particular stage in 1 run. But you will have to kill Blackbeard in 2 turns instead of 3. So there you guys go. That was Mono Dex. I know it was fully stacked, but hopefully you guys give you guys an idea of what units are really, really good and what you want to be leveling up if you are a global player. It's basically the usual culprits. But like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. If you're new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Lights!